by the way, no, that's not what we're going to do. Even when they act up, like say they're bouncing around in kind of an animated way, my reaction to that is, well, that was cute. Now let's try this again. And I kind of think of that as, I always try to make analogies or equate that to things that maybe other people would recognize or have had experience with, so that they can kind of put themselves in the right mindset. When you see somebody that has a child that's carrying on in a store or a restaurant, and the good parent takes the kid outside and has a conversation with them instead of subjecting the entire store or restaurant to your tantrum throwing child. But I equate that with like a parent going outside and, kind of squatting down in front of the kid and explaining to the kid that we don't act like this in public, or hopefully ever. But, like, we don't do this. We don't do this when we're out, that kind of thing. And then, instead of being, aggressive as a parent or aggressive as a guider of good manners, then they say, okay, you ready? You ready to try this again? So that's kind of how I treat my horses when they act kind of animated, or they act in any way that seems undesirable for the situation. I'll just be like, well, that was cute. Now let's try this again. I never get angry with my horses. Well, rarely. I'll say never is wrong. Sometimes, like, if one of my horses I know is just like belligerent in the sense that they are not listening, like they're like this one here. Katie has a tendency to decide she knows what I want, or what's next or whatever. And then, I always say this particular horse will fight to the death and for her cause. So, like there was a day that we were going to go riding, and I always do a pre-ride test on my horses. I always just make sure I have my brakes, so I always take them like into the round pen, and I do a little puzzle, and then I do, a quick, make sure I have my emergency brake set and stuff like that. And my brakes were not going to be working that day because she was fighting me to bring her head around. Fighting me so bad that she was like kind of popping me out of the saddle as I tried to get her, I don't use a saddle, but popping me out of my seat, to where she was like, I'm not nothing you do, so to her cause that day was nothing you can do is going to get me to bring my head around. And I was going to ride with somebody else, and I had to make the decision, and I hope other people do that. I had to make the decision that today is not a good day to do this with her. She's not going to be safe because she's, got it in her mind that she doesn't have to be, she doesn't have to do what I've asked her to do. So those are the days that I might say I could get frustrated with my horse, but to get mad, no, I don't get mad at my horses. I can get frustrated with, their decision to be difficult, but I don't get mad at them. I just accept the fact that it's kind of like, I'm sure there's been parents who have had plans to do something and their kid is just being, too difficult to get along with. And because they're being difficult to get along with, the parent makes the polite decision. Hold on, you're like looking at a spider web right now. Okay. Where the parent makes the polite decision to their friends and says, we're not gonna come because the kid's not cooperating. I know you'd rather look at him than... That's Tucker. So I'm rambling now. I'm trying to still make where you equate things to, children and temper tantrums, and then how to just kind of like let them know that you're displeased or disappointed with them, but yet not make it a big deal.